Good morning, wrestling fans. Welcome to PWR today for Tuesday morning, December 22nd, 2020 on the Man They Call Meathead. And, we're coming off a really hot TLC, pun intended, coming off something not so hot from Raw last night. Let's talk about it, but first let's talk sponsors. Manscaped.com. When you're getting interviewed post-game, you want to make sure that everything is clean and silky smooth. Use manscaped.com and use their care package. Use the promo code PWR and save yourself 20% plus whatever promos they got going on their website, manscaped.com. The lawnmower, get yourself silky smooth. And then our friends at collarandelbowbrand.com. They have PWR 360 as the promo code to use. That'll save you the 10%. And make sure you got something nice to wear in your post-game interview afterwards. Bringing in the very long and very lovely Linda Kay. Good morning, Linda.
Good morning, Meathead. If only Manscaped was around back in 2012.
We have the pre-show talk, ladies and gentlemen, and I can't say what it was about, but literally that was on my mind. And Linda, I'm glad I got that out there.
Thank you. Well, it was a great transition from speaking, of our wonderful sponsor, Manscaped, as well as Collar and Elbow, of course.
Of course. You got to have, I wonder if they have not just Manscaped in 2012. I wonder if Collar and Elbow would have had, something to say a Anthony Kiedis style sock,
Yes.
Back then.
Suck My Kiss. Chili Pepper song for anybody that may not know.
Suck My Kiss. But I'm sailing. Doom, doom, doom. Yeah. One of my favorites. All the other Chili Pepper songs are great, all the radio ones, whatever, but Suck My Kiss is probably my favorite. Great
bass riff. Gotta love Flea.
Yeah. Well, I love getting fleas, too. No, just kidding. Let's talk about what happened last night. And we had, again, pun intended, we had a hot TLC on Sunday night. Raw's action from last night, I think it was quite the opposite. Before we get into Raw, I want to take a second to talk about a member formerly of the Green Bay Packer coaching staff, a member of the LA Rams, Pittsburgh Steelers, Carolina Panthers, and there was one other team, Linda. Do you remember?
49ers for a little bit.
49ers. Okay. I remember him actually right when Clay Matthews was coming up in the Packers. He was the linebacker coach. Also, a member, was he ever officially a member of the Four Horsemen?
I don't believe so. I just
worked along with them. Or he might have worked alongside of him. I know he had his beefs with the Four Horsemen.
Yeah, I just mainly recall, his tag team or him tag teaming with Steve McMichael, but I know that they had their little spiff and, their thing against with the NWO. But
well, we're talking about Kevin Greene, former linebacker, former WCW star, suddenly passing away at the age of 58. No cause of death has been given, according to ESPN.com, as of last night. It's an early age, and it makes you think, makes you wonder, and makes you feel for the family of Kevin Greene. Kevin Greene was an over-the-top personality by far. Again, my favorite moments. One, he was talking obviously at the Hall of Fame because he's a Hall of Fame member. He's got that wrestling career. I was watching WCW at the time, and he had the matches with Mongo McMichael, and then he had the. I think there was also a time where didn't he have Reggie White on his side too? That's right when the Packers, I think, won the Super Bowl. Was the year that Reggie White jumped in right after the game. Was wrestling in WCW February '98. I want to say it was around that time. But,
yep. That sounds right.
Over the top personality. Kevin, Matthew Thomas and I, we used to do the Nitros, Monday night flashbacks, whatever the hell we called them, but those Nitro recaps. And I remember watching the shows to get ready for the Nitro recaps. Kevin Greene would just smack his head, drop down, roll over, get ready in football. Dude, he was going 100 miles an hour all the time. I'm sad to hear that he has passed, and I wish his family nothing but comfort during this time.
Absolutely. Just an over-the-top personality, whether on the field, off the field, or coaching. You mentioned him being a part of the Packers coaching staff, and I just remember his excitement with Clay Matthews up and coming, and just what a great job our defense was doing at that time. So seeing Kevin Greene, his excitement from that, remembering the days of WCW, and I said this to you right before this, if anybody else watches Celebrity Family Feud from this summer with Steve Harvey, there was a recent episode where it was the NFL legends, the Pro Hall of Famers, and he was on that team, and just hilarious and just joking around with the new school, the younger generation, if you will, who they competed against. And I just mentioned that episode to my sister this week, and when I saw her, so once I found out that news, when he broke the news to me about Kevin Greene, I was just like, "Ooh, that's
yeah." And it's funny you said there was that Bruce Smith moment. Do you know that Kevin Greene is the third all-time career sacks man, only behind Bruce Smith and Reggie White, all three guys we've already talked about tonight.
Wow."
So he had 160 sacks, Bruce Smith at 200, and Reggie at 198. I know Bruce Smith, when he joined the Redskins, stayed with the Redskins just to try to take over the league and then retired after that.
Mm-hmm. I always remember him as the Bill, but
yeah, again, when he started, he's obviously started with the Rams, but he joined the Steelers in '93, and him, Greg Lloyd, and they made the Blitzburg defense. I mean, those guys were amazing. So. Man, Kevin Greene, we appreciate it, and I enjoyed watching everything he had. I don't want to go on; it's a sad moment, but we had to talk about it here. And Kevin Greene, Hall of Famer and WCW star, passing away at the age of 58. I do want to talk about one more thing before we get into Raw from last night. There was an announcement during Raw. Linda, I hope you saw this. They announced the Legends Night edition of Raw on January 4th, so it's going to be the first show of the new year of 2021, voiced by Braun Strowman. 2020 looked like a pile of mucus. 2021 looked like a superhero. So let's hope they come in with a better year. Did you happen to, I did this because I'm a dork, but did you happen to play in slow-mo the announcement and all the talents that they flashed up on the screen?
I did pause it because I was making some dinner and I had to run to the kitchen and come back, and it kind of rewinded a little bit, and I took wind of everybody they showed, and then we saw the spot again later in the evening, and I took note of a couple of the legends, couple legends that we see quite frequently on these special episodes of Raw, whether it be old school Raw, Legends Night, or
come holiday edition night, whatever we're calling it.
Okay, yeah, so it is the new year, or will be the new year. This would be the first Raw to kick off a brand new year, and hopefully a sign of better things to come in the world as a whole. But yeah, you slow-moed it. So who did you catch that surprised
Here's what I saw so far. Obviously announced Hulk Hogan, Ric Flair, Tori Wilson, Beth Phoenix. But here's the one the ones that I caught. I caught Booker T. I caught Mickie James in there. I caught Tatanka. Hey, how are ya? Hey, how are ya? IRS, Michael P.S. Hayes. Really cool to see Alicia Fox in there. Sergeant Slaughter, obviously. Jeff Jarrett was mentioned. You know what was cool, though? What's that? Yeah, Beth Phoenix. You know what was cool, though? You know who I saw in there? Someone that WWE hasn't really, I really thought could have done more in the WWE. And he spits in the face of people that don't want to be cool.
Carlito
was my favorite because he was a sound drop machine for me when he kept hanging around with Chris Masters, because he kept calling Chris Masters a meathead. So he was a sound drop machine. Every time Carlito came on TV, he had the recorder going, look at you, some kind of meathead. Well, thank you, Carlito. That's another one. Let me cut that up and use that for later. But I also saw Melina. There was talk that Melina might be showing up in NXT. Maybe this is the way back into the company.
That would be awesome.
I'm ready. Come on in.
Yes.
I'm more than happy to see Melina come back. We got to meet her at the last Blizzard Brawl that happened, which was last year. And what a sweetheart. I'm ready. Absolutely. Come on back. So awesome. Well, hey, that's on January 4th. That'll be the first Monday Night Raw of 2021. Let's look to that. Now, let's also talk about something that happened at TLC real quick before we get into Raw, and we can lead into Raw with this. Poor Kofi is missing a couple pieces of his body from Sunday night. Yes. Did you notice something? Do you notice he's weighing about a pound less?
I mean, I didn't catch it, during the actual
Well,
pay-per-view.
he caught it because he tweeted out a picture of it.
Well, yes, after the fact. And as the interview showed on Raw last night, poor Kofi had some teeth chipped.
Yeah, he's spitting out pieces of his teeth.
Mm.
Kofi Kingston tweets out, by the way, his name is now Kofi Kringle, at True Kofi. Hats out to Shelty Boy 803 and Cedric Alexander. I'm still spitting out pieces of my teeth. You've officially earned my respect. Good battle. I'm thoroughly looking forward to the next one. And this must be on the dashboard of his car because that's what it looks like. Hey, man, here's my teeth. So Kofi gets in there and he gets to work. They were talking about big match New Day. Xavier and Kofi had said that. I still think back to the Usos and the New Day in that cage, like that Hell in a Cell, that tag team match that they had. Those guys can go. We always think of them as the ha funny, bootios, pancakes, all that other stuff.
Hip
But
thrusting.
they can work. I mean, look, they're fun guys. They're in the Gears of War game. They're characters. How awesome is that? But
yeah, I said this to you before about Big E as well. Now that he's over on SmackDown, he's still being funny, haha. However, the moment someone mentions his solo career, about how he's just entering his solo, not career per se, but just like a rebirth of it, I think that's his little ticking point where he flips the switch and he just loses the goofiness and
there's a chance, Linda, that this Friday on SmackDown he could become the new Intercontinental Champion.
I would hope so. He's newly acquired back onto Team Longtime.
Right. And, it wouldn't be any points for you, but you'd get defense points maybe on a pay-per-view. But Kofi Kingston, Big E, is a Sammy Award winning performer. So,
yes. We get the Slammies this Wednesday, but I would like to see the Sammys again. That was quite entertaining last week on SmackDown, I must say.
What was the most entertaining was not only just Sami Zayn's hair.
Yeah.
Whatever that jacket was made of, slid down the ramp. That was kind of awesome.
Maybe velvet.
What is that? Velvet? By the way, folks, new what are they calling it? Coming to America, coming soon on Amazon Prime, I think in 2 months.
I can't wait.
What is that? Velvet? That's beautiful. All right. The show opened up with the new women's tag team champions and the returning Charlotte Flair. Again, Charlotte looking good, looking healthy, 6 months off. She had some work done, I'd say down in the midsection, somewhere up top shelf. She looks amazingly healthy and happy, and she's smiling. Here's the issue I had with the whole promo. Started off because it started off with them. Then here comes the former tag team champions, Shayna Baszler, and it's poor Charlotte. Again, she's just getting back in the groove. It's not Shayna Baszler. It's Baszler.
Yeah, I did hear that.
Yeah, but the promo with them, talking about Charlotte's robotic voice. Here comes Dana Brooke and Mandy Rose. It didn't get better. I need Dana and Mandy to work a little bit more on that. But there was a match. It was Dana and Mandy taking on Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler. And coming out on top again, Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler. Now, did they say who they were defending the belts on Friday against?
No, it just said that their first title defense would take place this week on SmackDown.
Okay. So a SmackDown set of talents might have a shot at the Women's Tag Team Championships. The returning Angel Garza, we way back in April talked about the exodus of talent, the COVID firings, if you will. And they said they had got rid of Drew Gulak, but Drew Gulak continued to stay with the company. We know why he's there now, obviously, because they was said when they sent those 5 heavyweights down to the performance center to train a little bit, they're going to be training with Drew Gulak and Adam Pearce. We know why Drew is there, and he's there as an enhancement talent, and I think he's an amazing performer. The winner, Angel Garza, returning formerly from team they call him Meatheads. Drew Gulak makes Garza look good. Your thoughts on Garza returning?
Well, he's been off TV, with the exception of a couple promos of talking to the ladies. I don't think there was anybody in particular in his previous recent promos, but nice to see him back. The haircut looks good. He still tore off the pants. That's a signature, thing, shtick. So,
Yep.
um, I'm glad they kept that with him, and he's still obviously as a ladies' man with his persona, as him talking to Sarah Schreiber before the match.
If he was only really the ladies' man, yeah, how you doing? This is Leon Phelps, and welcome to the ladies' man. I got my bottle of Cavassier.
Yes. Tim
By,
Meadows. I had to think
by,
of
and, by and far, one of my favorite Saturday Night Live movies. I don't care how stupid it was. I love that movie. Yeah, take your lover by the hand and do it in the butt. What?
Yes.
Was your dad the hamburger? Because it looks like he's smuggling a couple of Christmas hams back there.
Goodness. I was gonna add something else though to your point there. With Drew Gulak, I did notice that he was not part of that train chasing after R-Truth
Right.
in the 24/7 title.
Yeah.
So later on, obviously, he showed up with the match against Angel Garza. Great to find out that he is, working with other talents to enhance them. And I was like Drew Gulak, can't talk, Drew Gulak. So great to see him doing things behind the scenes and getting some TV time as well.
Yeah, it's awesome. I do want to talk about Miz TV real quick here before we kind of skim through the rest of Raw. I like the Miz trying to find a way to get his briefcase back.
Mm-hmm.
For a fan's perspective, as a person who knows the accounting firm of Dewey, Cheatham, and Howe, for the love of God, please don't. Because those poor guys are already being asked to redo 8 months worth of work. Nah, I don't want to do it. So let's just call this one dead and buried, Miz, and let's move on. But it was a very interesting point. Morrison cashed in the briefcase, not me. I'm the only one that should be able to cash it in.
So that makes me think that there's a chance Miz might get that briefcase back. Why else would they have mentioned it? Or they could have just done it during Miz TV when Omis mentioned to Morrison, "You're the one that cashed it in." That could have been the end of it. But then later on in Raw, you saw Miz on the phone talking to, did he say who, the lawyers or whoever he was talking to? Maybe it was the accounting firm of Dewey, Cheatham, and Howe regarding the situation with the briefcase. So that was an interesting point, I must say. That whole Miz TV segment I enjoyed. We got that emotional promo from the Miz that he's just so good at.
Yeah. He was about to cry when he said he was sorry.
Yeah. But just, you can feel the emotion, and it just makes you think about, that spot where the promo with him and Daniel Bryan, and just any other times on Miz TV where he's poured his heart out talking about the many years he's been in WWE, how he struggled trying to get taken seriously, mentioning him having the Money in the Bank title, briefcase prior to, and, headlining
Inventing WrestleMania and winning.
Yes. I saw it live. That was my first WrestleMania.
Yep.
But yeah, so anyways, I still like the interaction between Ms. Morrison and AJ Styles and Omis. Kind of led into more shenanigans later in the night.
Omis did a lot of talking last night, didn't he?
Right. It's nice to see that.
Yeah. Okay. Let's talk about the Hardy Bros.
Mm-hmm.
I guess I probably would have took Bro Nuts over maybe the promo that he was cutting, because he was stammering over himself. It'll get better with time. We know this. I know this. You know this. American people know this. But MVP called him out. Look, you don't know what you're talking about, so we obviously have no idea what the hell you're talking about. Let's just do this thing.
Yeah.
It'll get better, I think. And I think they're going to continue on with Hardy and Riddle.
Yeah. I like the duo. They look well together. I think they just as a whole mesh well together, and having this feud between MVP and Bobby Lashley. There's already that little beef between Jeff Hardy and Bobby Lashley, and now we saw a little bit of the, I would say, beef again between MVP and
Well, you're talking
Riddle.
to Meathead, so it's okay to say beef.
Okay. So it was nice to get this tag match, but man, Jeff Hardy, what gives? Taking another bad bump on the steps. I
don't know. I do want to talk about Randy Orton coming out and telling us what he did, basically killing The Fiend. I absolutely love the swing set, A Moment of Bliss. she's going to do if she's going to do her moment of blisses, it has to be from that swing set.
I hope so.
It doesn't get any better. And again, her puns, he's at his favorite restaurant eating his food, barbecue. He was looking kind of pale. I hope he doesn't get sunburned.
Mm-hmm. Sounds like some puns we would do.
Yeah.
Kind of did
and they were right. She says that, you know what? It was right here. You can smell his burning flesh. It's almost like the Fiend was absorbed into the mat. Yeah. He's home, but if he ever leaves home, he might have to come to Alexa's playground. If so, it'll be unlike anything we've ever seen before. Yeah. Absolutely amazing. Great little switch, because now we saw with that really weird colored flame, the Fiend get burned damn near to a crisp. And now Alexa Bliss returns.
She's almost the reincarnation.
Yeah.
If you will. Yeah. And what was interesting was shortly after the pay-per-view, a tweet went out by not the Fiend, but Bray Wyatt.
Yeah, I saw that in some pictures too.
Yeah, the moth into flame. But him saying thank you.
Wait, Metallica?
Well, no, but the tweets prior to leading up to TLC was, I don't know if it was a cocoon or something to that sort, kind of
Steve Gutenberg?
Signaling.
All right, I'm done.
Maybe I was signaling a rebirth or a reincarnation. I'm not quite sure, but literally like a half hour after the pay-per-view was done, Bray Wyatt sent the tweet out. So as we can all pretty much figure out, I mean, I was assuming the Fiend is dead. Bray Wyatt is not, or maybe the Fiend really isn't dead. His spirit, his soul is now reincarnated into Alexa Bliss, but is Bray Wyatt still alive?
Don't know. We're all glad that you're our friends, and this is the fun that'll never, ever end. Let him in. That's where it is. They don't want to get rid of the Fiend, though. Because the Fiend obviously is a merchandising machine, and he's got to be making a ton of cash off of all the Fiend gimmicks. Because, he even had a Christmas sweater that said, "Let me in."
Yeah. Well, that Fiend, there was a title, a belt made with him too, I think. And then, of course,
because he was the champion. Yeah.
Yeah.
And all the belts are Velcro now, so maybe that one's Velcro too. Let's talk main event. Keith Lee, Drew McIntyre, Sheamus, AJ Styles, Miz, Morrison. Really, the be-all, end-all is that they keep building this little thing between Sheamus and Keith Lee. I do not like Drew McIntyre as the happy, friendly peacekeeper between two other people. He's the WWE champion, and he needs to act like one. And that's not how the WWE champion acts. Way too friendly, way too happy. At the end of the match, after the match is won, Sheamus with a bro kick to Keith Lee's face. Your thoughts?
Well, I agree with you, and I know you and Dave talked about this last week as well. You want to see your WWE champion, while he is a face, we want to see Drew McIntyre outside of that happy-go-lucky kind of feel. Like, it's okay to be happy here and there. Be happy.
Yeah, don't worry, be happy.
Be happy,
outside.
Yes. But when we had the Scottish psychopath who then became the Scottish warrior, I think is what his new name was.
Something like that now.
Yeah, even with the sword, and that kind of changes things up, making him a little bit, I don't say more tough, but it just adds to his character. And then we just got off the heels of a tremendous brutal match from TLC, and it was like everything except of his knee being wrapped. It's like it didn't really happen. Not to say happen, but he seemed too happy with what was going on. And then he doesn't necessarily have to be the third wheel of the Sheamus Keith Lee feud.
Yeah. And one more thing, if this was a holiday street fight, what the hell? They said there's no countouts. I seriously thought when the announcer started saying that, the performers heard that and said, "Oh, wait, we got to make this a street fight. There's no countouts or disqualifications." Because
I honestly forgot.
They were around the corner doing tag match stuff.
Yeah, I honestly forgot it was a holiday street fight until the candy cane kendo sticks came out. I love candy canes. Candy canes. And then AJ Styles, poor AJ, put through another table.
Yep.
And the eggnog
Morrison
all over him.
Put through a table by
Omos. Same thing though. He caught him. Like, he
Yeah,
caught
and then
him.
dropped him through the table.
Yeah.
So almost slams Morrison through the table at the ringside. Lee goes on and hits Miz with the Spirit Bomb in the middle of the ring for the pin to win.
Yeah, but he did tag himself in though from Sheamus, so I was like, okay, here we go.
It was sloppy. I honestly did not like this match one bit, and I don't like where it's going. Get it away from Drew McIntyre and let Keith Lee and Sheamus have their own thing on the side.
I agree. Let's let Drew McIntyre focus on whoever his next opponent will be. I mean, again, we just got off that TLC match.
Yeah.
Usually the next night, the champion comes out and calls out, who's next?
Somebody. Oh, don't say who's next.
Oh, no, sorry. I didn't mean to. That was
Don't
not
say who's next.
No.
Because he's sniffing around too.
Maybe let me rephrase that, or calls out an open challenge.
There you go. Oh, I see what you did there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but don't say who's next. That's for the Smackdown show.
I said it, and then I was like, oh, and then you caught it.
I mean, that might have been the pickup you should have done, technically. Who knows? Mm-hmm. All right. Well, we've got Impact tonight. There could be more build to the Kenny Omega stuff. We did learn last week that Kenny Omega is going to be in a 6-man tag on Impact's Nest pay-per-view. It was Kenny Omega and the Good Brothers, I believe, taking on, it was Rich Swann and Motor City Machine Guns, if I'm not mistaken.
I believe so.
Yeah. So we'll see if there's anything else that grows from that. And then we've got Matthew Thomas tomorrow morning. So for Linda Kay, I'm the man they call Meathead. Hey, thanks for stopping by. So long, everyone.